Good afternoon. Thursday, August 8th. Really clean action today in the index. Let's go ahead and recap ES here coming into the session. What we had talked about this morning during that pre-market prep was the near-term range and wanting to see how price was going to be trading versus essentially this area of support right through here, 5220 by 5200. That's your main support zone. And what I had mentioned was I wanted to see buyers show strength up through that prior day low, up through the overnight high, and the weekly time frame volume point of control, which is right here at 5244. And if that scenario did pan out, most likely we could see a test of some of these upside levels of interest and potentially the near-term range high. So that's the exact move that transpired. Hopefully you didn't find yourself trying to fight this move somewhere through here with shorts. Remember, best opportunities when trading with a range are going to be near the edges of the range. And if we have a strong move like this, most likely you don't want to be getting involved with any counter trend type of plays until price is actually testing that area of resistance. For tomorrow, it's going to be pretty simple. We want to see how price trades again versus this 5340 / 5360 area of resistance. So we know sellers are definitely up here. And what we want to see, what we're looking to assess for tomorrow, of course, this depends on how busy, how active that overnight session is, because we've been having a lot of activity during the overnight session as of late. But tomorrow's main objective is just to identify how price responds to this resistance zone right through here, 5340, right where I have this red rectangle through here. Now, a reminder, daily chart continues to show just that near-term range. One of the themes we've been talking about since Monday is price just continuing to trade within this near-term range, and how that would be one of the best cases for an eventual push up and outside of this area, right? With the assumption that this is reaccumulation that we're seeing on the higher time frames. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is the weekly bar. I'll be paying close attention to the weekly bar tomorrow as we get into the close on Friday and whether or not the weekly bar can maintain the shape into the close. Obviously, this looks much better from a buying perspective. Right, we've got 3 weeks lower. You got the big washout on Monday that tested weekly time frame support. Now you have a potential weekly hammer. Now, of course, this can all change tomorrow if Friday rejects that near-term resistance zone, that near-term range high, and closes near the low of the range. We definitely will not have this same shape. So something to keep an eye on, definitely, and it will all hinge on tomorrow's close. That's pretty much the main watch here on ES. There's another look at the structure there. So 5340, 5360, the primary watch. What buyers are hoping to do here is trigger the breakout play, maybe a retest, and then some continuation up and outside of this range. Sellers, of course, want to defend this area and see the weekly volume point of control retested, maybe even the support zone retested, and ideally a seller is looking for this area of support to fail so that Monday's low could be retested. So a couple of different scenarios to be thinking about for tomorrow's session, both of which will hinge on how price reacts to this area of resistance. We could start to see some exhaustion on the hourly chart with that kind of much tighter doji there in the last hour, and now some selling into the close. So if you include Friday's session, last Friday, we do have volume point of control up here. A lot of volume being done up here. However, the volume point of control for the week, that is Monday through today, is still down near the lower portion of this range. If you take a look, speaking of volume profile, if you take a look at the volume profile, you'll see that kind of void through here. Part of the reason why price is putting in these pretty large momentum moves in the middle of the range. Not a lot of volume there in the middle. All the volume is pretty much concentrated up here or down here, right? So a couple of things to be thinking about into tomorrow's session. Let's jump over to NQ. Very similar type of setup, right? We wanted to see how price would be trading versus the 18K level. 18K has been showing really good action all week on both sides. Initially, you had the selling there on Monday, right? Early Monday. Even some later in the morning on Monday, price breaks above. You get the retest. A couple more retests later in the week. Just kind of some churn there this morning during the overnight session. And then buyers are able to lift it higher up and through that overnight high, up and through that weekly volume point of control. Price now trades into that near-term range high. Pretty much the same location as where we were Wednesday morning. And so do we get another repeat? Do we get a revisit of that near-term range low? Or are buyers able to actually show some continuation here? TBD, no crystal ball. Just kind of wanted to see how price responds versus this pivot and take it from there. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So there's your daily price, largely just within Monday's session, right? We did see that test of weekly support, just like ES. And there's your weekly bar as well. Hammer. Got the hammer. So both of them with a nice weekly hammer. How this closes tomorrow will be pretty important for next week. So I'll be keeping a very close eye on that if you're wanting to do some early game planning for next week. As of right now and tomorrow's session, it's just near-term range trading. Some really good action today. If you're familiar with these types of structures and you like trading ranges, some really clean action for today. So hope you guys had a great sesh. If you have questions about anything, jump into the trading mentorship group. We have a session here in about 40 minutes, or just shoot me a direct message and I'll be happy to help out. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning. We will be live again. Hope you guys have been enjoying the live streams. If you have feedback on those, feel free to shoot me a DM. Have a great evening.